All right, we're again live. Well, we're getting traction and speed. Our next second presentation of our second day of Business.Digital.NOW is about to begin. It's a great pleasure to have once again here Pavel Yosifov, Director of Cybersecurity Products at DIGITALL and GBS. Pavel was also part of our panel discussion yesterday, so he's already know what is going on, and he's ready to kick off. So thank you, Pavel, once again for joining us. We're going to speak about something quite important, as we already agreed yesterday. When we speak about digital transformation and all the technologies and tools that are available and solutions, it's actually at the end related always to the trust and security. So we're going to hear more about that from Pavel. So Pavel, I'm giving you the floor. I'm hiding myself from stage. You can share your screen and kick off.
Thanks, Ivan. Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for spending your time from your personal time to attend this and to listen to all the interesting stuff you're going to hear today. I am absolutely sure that you will not regret that. And I will start with something. You will have to excuse me, I guess, or bear with me for a few minutes, because I will first go and tell you a little bit about digital. For those of you who probably have missed the panel discussion yesterday, I gave a glimpse. I want to spend a few minutes talking about who digital is, who we are, what we do. And then I'm going to jump a little bit more into the cybersecurity area, our services, solutions, and technology that we built. We have around about 30 minutes, which will give me the opportunity to barely scratch the surface. But if you have any questions or you find it interesting, I'm pretty sure you will get the chance to reach out, and then we can debate in more details. Now, what is it all about? As I said yesterday, I'm presuming the name says it all. It's digital because our goal is, our mission is to help customers in their digital journey, in their digitalization initiatives, in their cloud transformations, and to make it in a way that they can derive the most out of this in a secured way, because nowadays it's all about data and about the information we get from that data. But the more and more we digitalize data, the more it requires a different approach to security than it used to be. Our customers rely on us to help them do that, to give them advices on how to embrace technology in order to boost their businesses. I will not be able to cover the complete portfolio of digital today. I'm going to focus on the cybersecurity aspect, but I want to mention that besides cybersecurity, which we consider as integral part of every digitalization project, we are actually working very close with our customers on the business side of the digitalization. What does it mean for their businesses? How their business will benefit from that? Where to start with? How to move forward? These are challenges that a lot of customers are facing, and we are here for them to help them do that. We are industry oriented because we want to be experts in several industries. So we know our customers, we know their markets, we know their challenges, we know customers similar to them. We know their businesses, and we can be a trusted advisor to them to really embrace technology and figure out how their business can move forward. So, having said that, we have gotten some recognition over the years, with which clearly we're very proud of. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we were considered the highest growing, or one of the highest growing companies, quickest growing companies in the Eastern Europe, etc., etc. I don't want to go through all of these, but yes, we consider ourselves very proud of this recognition from the market. Okay, a bit of a footprint, so you get the understanding and the impression. I don't know if you can see the map behind that. It's a bit plain, but we are situated, headquartered in Germany. but we have offices in many locations around mainly around Europe, but we also have footprint in North America, in Canada, and the US. So our predominant market is the European market, and we're expanding this every year. Nowadays, as the slide says, we are in over 12 countries, and we're over 1,400 employees all over the world. Okay, before I jump into the security topic, just several notes. On top, besides security, as I mentioned, we're also doing a lot of business implementation processes. For example, ERP systems, CRM systems, all this, the technology that helps customers improve their business processes. And this is clearly driven or requires nowadays cloud adoption, because you know that very few companies nowadays can afford to stay on-prem only. So it's either cloud or hybrid. So we are helping on this infrastructure side as well. And as I mentioned, security-wise, we have a strong division of security experts, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. But let's first answer the question, why digitalization needs security? Because when we digitalize things, we make them more accessible, right? One of the reasons we are digitalizing is that we want to make data information easier to use, which means also easier to be accessible. It doesn't happen like that it's accessible only to us by default. We have to work on securing that data in order to make sure that it's accessible only to the right people, to the people who are supposed to use it. So I'm pretty sure some of the things you're going to see in the next couple of minutes, you know them, but I want to summarize them very quickly and go through them. Why digitalization needs security? Because we broaden the attack surface. What does that mean? It means that everything that we do nowadays, even today, we're talking to each other, but it's digital. And this is expanding the attack surface, or the surface that malicious actors can use in order to take advantage of our data. It's also the fact that we work from home, for example, or all the online systems and mobile applications that we use nowadays. This is something that has been exploding for the last 7-8 years, and it has expanded the attack surface for malicious actors tremendously. So we need to cover that surface. In the past, we used to have a data center with all our data there. We used to have people sitting in our offices. It was all tidy and everything was organized and secured with the necessary technology. Nowadays, you can go and work from anywhere, at the airport, the hotel, at the beach, for Christ's sake. And then you need to take care of that. The second thing is regulation. With all this, it's inevitable that regulation also changes. It has to change. It has to raise the alarm that some things need to be done differently from now on. And a lot of companies are adopting technologies in the cybersecurity space in line with the regulation. So if the regulation requires it, yes, we will do it. If the regulation doesn't really require it very clearly, they start hesitating. Shall we do it? Shall we not do it? Again, this is then the job of companies like us to figure out, is it necessary for your business? If it is, if the risk is too high, then yes, do it. If it's not, you don't have to do it. But regulation is something that is driving the cybersecurity topic as well in the last 7-8 years, very dynamically. Higher attack intensity. Nowadays, the weapons that the malicious actors have, the knowledge, the volume, it's tremendous if you compare it 10 years ago. I will jump to the topic again, but I just want to mention also here the funding of these guys. Most of these organizations, criminal organizations, are well funded than almost any business out there. So it's really hard to fight against them, or to presume that we don't need to do anything and then everything is okay. because they will find it. They will find the mistakes that we've made. They will find the weak points that we have in our defense parameter, and they're doing it with volume, with huge volumes nowadays. I don't have to give examples, or I don't know if I should, but even in Bulgaria, we had several months ago a DDoS attack, something that is designed to prevent the system from being accessible, so people cannot use it. And this is on a government level, and it happens all the time, all over the world. The next thing is the funding, as I mentioned. I don't know if you guys know this report, I3C. It's a report from FBI, and according to this report, just for 2021, the loss from cybersecurity attacks that is in the visibility of FBI is in the space of $7 billion. Of course, not all of this goes back to the malicious actors or to the criminals, but you can imagine the amount of money it's all about. And you can also we are even not including the external funding that sometimes these guys are getting. Okay, complexity. Why complexity? Because it sounds very complicated, right? When you put all these things, digitalization itself is not an easy process. It's complicated, and then you're adding additional layer of complication with security technology. Security typically means that you have to give up on something. Security means closing something, and what and how and where and for who. This is something that is very complicated for most customers. Nowadays, a lot of the technological vendors are using algorithms like machine learning algorithms and AI algorithms to ease off the complexity. But still, for most customers, it's not about the technology itself. Technology is just a tool. It's about how to use it, where to put it, how to configure it, what do I do with the results of it. So it's again about people and processes. Yes, technology is mandatory, but if you don't have the rest of it, it's just a useless tool. And I've seen in companies and customers that I've worked with a lot of cybersecurity projects that were actually implementing technology, and because of failing to consider processes and stuff, the result is not as expected, and these projects fail. Like we discussed yesterday, that sometimes digitalization projects fail, or are, let's say, not as expected. Speed. We talked about speed yesterday. Digitalization is all about speed. It's about making things run faster, more efficient, quicker go-to market, easier accessibility and stuff like that. It's all about speed. And in our dynamic world, you have to be fast, if not first, right? So very often companies are giving up on something in order to boost the speed of these digitalization projects. And sometimes this is security, unfortunately. And this is a challenge that we're also addressing with our customers to ensure them and to let them know and to help them not lose speed during digitalization. Okay. Oh, sorry. Priority. Until, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, maybe, cybersecurity was not considered a big priority. It was not considered a big threat that you can be penetrated digital-wise. Nowadays, this is no longer the case. The cybersecurity risks are higher than some disasters that happen out there in the world on a yearly basis, like tornadoes and earthquakes and stuff. So the risk that researchers give, through surveys with different businesses, cybersecurity is one of the top risks in our world today. So now, honestly, priority is higher, definitely higher, especially in organizations that have suffered. That's very, very often, and unfortunately, you can read it all around. I'll give you an example a bit later. When we talk about reputation, I want to give you one very interesting example I read about a few days ago, because the reputation losses, nowadays everything's accessible. When a penetration happens, it becomes public. When a breach happens and data is exfiltrated, the criminals are using that data. They're bragging with it. I remember a few years ago there was a breach in, I don't want to mention the name, in an American bank, and the person that did that actually went on social media, of course, the dark web social media, and got said, yeah, look what I did. This is the data, blah blah. Of course, she was arrested. It was a lady, but and when they asked her why did you do it, and she couldn't tell. She just wanted to check if she could do it. She was an insider, by the way. So these kind of reputation losses are very, very easy to spread out nowadays with social media and regular media as well. If you do something wrong, your reputation could kill your business. Let's jump to the example that I promised. It's a university again in the U.S. that survived World War I, World War II, the COVID even, and now it was hacked just a couple of weeks. No, sorry, last year I think. No, now it was hacked a few weeks ago, and then what happened is their student application system was down, and they were able to recover it in several days. But after that, no student was wanted to actually apply to that university. So the threat now is that university that survived 100 years of history and wars and stuff is going to probably have to close just because of this reputation loss. So this is a huge driver as well for some businesses. Okay, let me try to give you, in respect of time, I will try to speed it up a little bit. Let me try to give you a few sentences about how we understand security. And what we help our customers address. So first of all, the absolute minimum of cybersecurity is that you are protecting things, right? So you're checking and making sure that nothing can, or almost nothing can, harm your data or access your data. Our philosophy is more is around the human-centric cybersecurity in the protection space, because we believe that this is the weakest point right now. We have spent decades of designing, creating, and implementing data center cybersecurity instruments and tools and technologies. And we have neglected to some extent the fact that actually people use data. And people are even harder to manage nowadays because they're walking all over with different mobile devices and accessing different internet sources, service providers. So it's really hard to manage them, bringing their own devices into the organization, doing it from everywhere in the world. One example, very quick, we had a customer that the CEO went to the US. He was in some coffee shop doing something, working, and then he went back. It was actually a factory, by the way. And he went back, and all of a sudden they got hacked, and they started getting emails sent out from the company from on behalf of the CEO. Huge reputation damage, and thanks God, no financial impact directly. But just because he went out there in the US and used an open Wi-Fi, and then he came back and they were already in his laptop, and then they could reach to the network and do whatever they want with that. Anyway, so we want to protect the border between us, the human beings, and the digital world when we use data, exchange data, transfer data, store data. And I will mention about GBS in a minute. We have a dedicated, focused company called GBS that is a software development company in the space of cybersecurity technologies we work and create and implement technology to secure the most used communication channels users use to exchange and transfer data. On top of that, yesterday I think I touched that point. We're really strong believers in education, and we think that a lot of the problems in the cybersecurity space, or a lot of the breaches, can be addressed if people know better how to identify them and protect themselves. Because in the last 5-6 years, the approach of malicious actors has shifted to going through users, going through people. And we are partnering with several technology vendors to consult our customers and implement technologies that on a constant basis train the users to understand when something is a scam, when something is a phishing attack, when something is wrong. Why do I need to have a strong password? All these things that a lot of people, maybe most of you here understand, a lot of people out there don't understand. And this is covering our protection side of our portfolio, the upper side of this beer decal. On the lower side is something that is extremely important nowadays in the cybersecurity, is the visibility. It's not only that you trust that you have done enough to protect, but also to make sure that if something goes wrong, you can reach, see, and act upon it. So in this space, our services, our teams of experts are talking to customers, identifying potential areas of improvement. What can be done? Would it be a process? Would it be a technology? So would it be a regular checks and assessments? Everything that a customer needs to do, or a business needs to do, in order to make sure that it's secured enough, let's call it like that, because there is no ultimate security. And also in line with the risks in the business, because this is very important. Adopting technologies that do not match to your business doesn't make sense at all. It's just a waste of money. Okay, I'll try to go next and tell you a quick story here. It's the story of GBS. We consider every business actually a home, right? Because we are sitting in our office environments, be it remote office, home office. We are interacting with our business more often than actually we're interacting with our family, for better or worse. And we feel kind of secured, right? We feel protected. My office is a safe place for me. We want to make sure that we help customers really do that, make the office a safe place, regardless if it's a remote or if it's a physical office location. And we're not addressing the endpoints because, as I mentioned, people are dragging new endpoints all the time. My laptop, my personal phone, doesn't matter. We want to protect the information. So what we're doing is we're integrating with the biggest or the most used communication channels to make sure that data is being protected. Nowadays, our focus is on Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Exchange Online, which basically means Office 365. So we are, as I said here, the double lock. So Office 365 provides certain level of security. We are providing more. So you can really make sure that the control is in your hands and you know exactly what's happening there. With real-time and transparency and dashboarding and stuff. And again, on top of this, we want to give customers the visibility so they can react if an incident happens. I want to spend, I have something like 6-7 minutes, try to fit in it. I want to spend some time talking about some of our technologies. As I said, I will barely be able to scratch the surface, but our technological stack is called IQ Suite. IQ Suite is a technological stack that is flexible because we promise this to our customers. It's all about them. It's not all about us. So if the customer has an on-premise environment that needs to be secured, okay, we can do it. If they have a cloud one, yes, we have it in the cloud. If you have hybrid, yes, we can do that as well. So depending on the customer's setup and his maturity in adopting cloud technologies, we can handle that. Our technology in the email world, is at least 25 years already on the market, doing a lot of nice things for customers in the previous years on premise. And I just want to go very quickly through what we can do with our email technology. We can clearly detect malware. This is a minimum. As I said, the protection side is a minimum. What we did different is we can detect it by cascading up to 4 anti-malware detection engines. Okay, because typically what you have is, I don't know, you have an antivirus on your laptop that's, I don't know, let's pick one, McAfee. And then you have one. What we do over email is we don't have one. We have up to 4. It's up to you, dear Mr. Customer, to figure out and to tell us how many of these you want to invoke to make sure that no malware reaches you. Because if you are knowledgeable in the cybersecurity area, you probably know that you can craft a malware code that and you can test if it's detected by different anti-malware engines. To make it undetectable by one engine is a few days work. To make it undetectable by 2 engines, it's a few weeks work. To make it undetectable by 3, it's already years. So it's I heard a very interesting sentence once from one of my colleagues. We don't aim to stop every attacker. We aim to make it too expensive for him to continue. So we can do that, of course. And spam is, of course, clearly the next one. You know what a spam is, nothing fancy and interesting. So I don't want to go into a lot of details there. But the most important thing here is our content recognition technology that helps us do different stuff with these emails. And encryption is something very important because of regulation, because it's all about information and data. So we have very interesting methods of encrypting and exchanging data. And we also add on top of this, of course, the data loss prevention. When we analyze data, we can figure out what kind of data that is. Is it sensitive data? Is it business data, financial data, personal data? What sort of data that is? Figure out who is using that, in what way, and apply certain rules to match the company's internal policies or the regulations requirements. And also the signatures and stuff. Information security is not only about protection. It's also about, as I said, being compliant to some regulations. Some regulations require that if I send an email out, there is a disclaimer on beneath that. So the signature management and disclaimer management is taking care that no email, I don't know how, guys, if you've been in that position, but I receive on a daily basis numbers of emails with best regards, Peter. Nothing more. I have no idea who Peter is, what is his role in his company, maybe, where is he located, and no disclaimer about all the legal stuff. This is something we're addressing in a very flexible way with multi-language, and you can drive campaigns, marketing if you want, really. But it's something that is not related to security per se, but helps with the compliance part of it. And also, of course, absence management. So if somebody is away, we can centrally say, okay, Pavel is away for 2 days now. So everybody that sent Pavel an email will be notified, even if my manager applies today, Pavel is on PTO. So, and I'm not going to go to all of these because we don't really have the time for that. But the goal is, and what we're doing is, and I told you all about email. Now we're doing all this also into the collaboration world. We're moving all the mechanisms that, by the way, we're kind of used to already on email. We're moving into the collaboration world because we are more and more using technologies, collaboration technologies, to store data, to exchange data, to send it out to some of our colleagues, to send it out to some of our partners. I'm doing it on a daily basis because I don't want to put it a big file in the email. So I put it somewhere, let's say on Teams, and then I share the link. And this is becoming more and more important to start addressing that. Just a couple of more words, bear with me. What we want to give is ease of use, speed of adoption, so it's easy and quick. Transparency, so you get the visibility, you know exactly what's happening, and the control is in your hands. And we want to do it better, more efficient. So when it comes, for example, to malware detection, we are detecting more than what you get built in from the other technologies. I will try to respect time here, so I'm going to stop now. One last sentence from me, Ivan, before we finish, is you probably have seen that our logo is a clover, right? And I wish you, everyone here, all the luck in the world that you can get. But when it comes to cybersecurity, we're not relying on luck, and I would advise you don't do it too. Okay?
Yeah, it's a good message at the end. Really, thank you so much, Pavel, because for me personally, now it's just more clear how cybersecurity as a concept and strategy is fitting into the digital transformation processes from the very beginning, which is quite important. So people just don't need to wait for, like being in the middle of some digitalization process and then realizing that they need security. And I have so many questions, actually. It was really, I have some notes here. I would just touch upon some of them. For example, you mentioned recent DDoS attacks. There were attacks against government institutions, which is more and more often now to see. But do you see also the rise of corporate cyber attacks? So attacking, let's say, companies with, the idea of stealing information.
Yeah, it has never gone down, by the way. It's only going up and rising. The methods are changing a little bit, as I said, because we spend a lot of time, defending our perimeter in data centers and stuff. And of course, the malicious actors have shifted their attention to people.
Yeah.
And because big companies have big budgets, they can really defend themselves good enough. What malicious actors are doing, they're attacking small companies, and not only to try to steal something out of them, but to use them as a bridge to the big ones. It's called a supply chain attack right now. So these two are really hitting the curve right now, and that's why I always say it doesn't matter if your business, you think it's not interesting. Maybe you're right, but if anybody finds it not interesting, they're just gonna use it to route through another more interesting.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. So no matter the size of the business nowadays, you are, and the essence of the business, either if you're a digital company or a production company, you are a target. You are always can be attacked no matter the size, and so you need to secure your systems. And most important, what you're telling is actually get more security for your people. So this is the message that we sent to you today, and thank you so much for being with us. We have your presentation. We're going to send it in the next days to all of our attendees and registered people. So thank you once again, and have a great Saturday, Pavel.
Have a great Saturday, everyone. Enjoy the weekend.